Ready? Can we? Okay. So, as I was saying, we have changed the licensing from a per site model to per device model. That was done in order to, more and more provide a model ready for bigger organization rather than small MSPs dealing with small customers. Okay. So it's more corporate IT, corporate ready, this new approach. So in the new model, you're not going to pay for per collector, so you can install as many collectors as you want. That gives you more flexibility to your case, and you only pay for managed device. Managed means you can retrieve all the SNMP information, you can apply custom scripts, which invokes API, connect SSH, run script. So collects information by means, like I say, not standard approach, because simple network SNMP, simple network protocol, it was developed in the 90s, and then it's by definition it's very simple, but some information cannot be retrieved. For instance, we had customers who asked us to develop custom integrations with IDRAC, ILO, and all the others. We connect to SSH, we issue the commands, and then we retrieve information and show them in tables, graphs, so that you can alert all the information, retrieve the non-standard approach. So you can have full monitoring of a managed device. Then you have a full control. So if it's a smart PDU, if a PoE switch, you can control each interface, you can control outlets. You can apply, for instance, automation scripts for detection and response. For instance, you have Domotz knows that an access point or a PoE device is connected to a switch. If that device gets unresponsive for some reason, I want to reboot the port where it's connected. Domotz has all the information. So if you enable this functionality, it can be done automatically. The other thing you can do on the managed device is remote connectivity. You can, so we have, you probably already know, we have
These guys haven't seen it before either, so just...
okay, so you have seen the remote connectivity feature working?
No, these guys haven't seen those.
They haven't, okay. So you don't even know about the architecture, almost nothing?
Just do an overview of it, tell you.
Okay, so the collector here, it's the only component need to be installed in your infrastructure. It works at layer 2. It scans all the VLAN that might be connected to it. If you use something like a trunk port on a call switch, you say, I want to connect VLAN 2, 7, and 9, and I want to restrict to sided block /27, 2/27 within a big /20. Maybe just, and then you can do it. So it works at layer 2, but it can also work in layer 3. So if you have a not directly connected sided block that are beyond the firewall or IPsec, they are in the cloud. You have a hybrid situation, then you can use the same collector. This enables you to have something like a hub and spoke configuration. You might have a single collector in the central location and all the other robots or remote office, home office connected via IPsec or SSL. So as long as there's a layer 2 connectivity, same broadcast, or layer 3 connectivity, you can use the same Domotz collector. Then the most interesting part is in the cloud, database, container. We are fully container-based infrastructure, hosted in AWS. For Europe, we are in Ireland. So we are GDPR, ISO 27001. For United States, we are also SOC 2. That means SOC 2 Type 2. That means we can keep federal information. We have some customers in Norway are the courts. The courts are monitored by means of Domotz. They were here on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday visiting us. Let's say 20% of our customers uses the public API to monitor their data points, because you might think Domotz has a consolidation of different sources. That's because we can retrieve information from any IP based device. So you have an IP, you have SNMP, or you have an API, you have SSH, you have whatever, we can take information and store in the cloud, and you have a single view, single pane of glass. Many customers use the public API to create custom reports, custom dashboard. We have integration with Grafana as well here. Then this is your PC, web app, desktop application for Windows and Mac, a mobile application. If you want afterwards, I'll show you the application. You can almost have the same experience from the mobile and the desktop application. So this is the dashboard, how it looks like. This is the same account. So those are the technology you can use to install the collector. It strongly depends on the kind of customer we have. You probably have hypervisors, or
Well, we also were wondering if the Docker can be installed on a 4 series Crestron. So it's possible to get the Docker working on the Crestron processor.
we have some cases like Luxul in the past used to install our collector in there. I don't know, we haven't tested it yet, in my opinion, but if it has a Docker compliant engine, runtime engine, I don't see why.
Yeah, because that makes sense. We'll already have it in the room and it's connected to both networks.
Exactly. This is another approach. Or you can use, for instance, I use Raspberry at home, but we also have a hardware which comes pre-configured with Domotz. So you just need to plug to the power, attach the network, and then it starts scanning. This is probably is not your case, but we have hundreds of Nike shops. The MSP Nike configure the box, something like, or this one, configure the box, ship, and the other side there's a person with no technical expertise, just attach here, and then in a matter of minutes you get a new item here shown. But what happens, it starts scanning, we retrieve all the information by using layer 2, as I said, so we know the MAC address, we make automatic identification of the device connected, we know the OUI. That's another advantage of working layer 2. You don't get the MAC address if you are connected using layer 3. So we can start classifying the different devices, so that, and then we start querying via SNMP to have the map of the connected devices to the switches, the firewall. And that's the way we create the automatic map. So this is done because, as I said, we know all the MAC address, we query all the nodes, because you provide the SNMP credentials to all of them. You can give a default value, private, public, for instance, or you can specify V1, V2C, or V3 SNMP with authentication and encryption enabled for most sensitive components like firewall. You'll have some not important switches configured in public, private credentials, but you have I don't know, the edge firewall with a very specific SNMP configuration with encryption. So here, let me show you. This is for the cholesterol, the pill for the cholesterol. So this is the SNMP monitoring. So we retrieve all the information, and then we can. Sorry, I want to show you this because this is our internal environment. I don't know what's happened. The Wi-Fi works, doesn't work. Let me see this one. Okay, so this is. For instance, I have a FortiGate here, 100, this one. We provide SNMP templates. For instance, we detect this is a FortiGate, we know what are the MIPS, and then we can provide you, simplify your life, so that, and spare some headache, but looking at the OID you want to monitor and you want to alert, because we provide already information. For all of them, we provide the information of the throughput. Everything here is absolutely configurable, And then, for instance, a very interesting information for me is the percentage of traffic used in each network interface I want to monitor. In case it's greater than 80%, then open a ticket to a ticketing system or PSA. Send me an email, instant messaging like Telegram, Slack, or Teams, or call a webhook, because some customers has their own ticketing system internal, and then we can open and close the ticket. But with this approach, you can monitor, so you have something coming out of the box, like pre-configured SNMP templates, and something else you can create your own pre-configured or ask us to create new one, because they will be provided once tested and accepted by you to all the customers who use the same. So we are mainly brand agnostic. We strive a lot to do that, because it's not easy to cope with new brands, new device, new firmware. But so this is our mission and what we regularly do. I told you about the cloud. We provide you the ability of remote connection. Are you interested in remote connection?
Yeah, it's a little bit discussed.
We can disable that one, because in organization like yours, people don't want to use other external connectivity, but only the one accepted by the corporation.
Yeah, but here also it makes sense if we can jump into that offline switch, as we told you, with the setup, because that's the way to get into the AV equipment this way. But we're also moving over to Cisco SDN networks, SDN, software-defined networks.
Yes,
there
sure.
We'll put all the devices on the network.
ACI.
So we're using different topologies, but so for the SDN we probably can't use it, but for all the legacy where we have all the offline switches, this is super interesting. Yeah.
Yes. So, just to show you, this is the same environment of my FortiGate, my home, and then by means of seconds, I can jump in there with my mobile. That's because, as I said, you only configure outgoing configuration from here, so you're not going to configure any inbound. We establish a tunnel. We use a Docker container dedicated to you, and then doing a reverse proxy, you connect to this guy, and this guy is always connected to here. And then in a matter of seconds, I'm connected to my FortiGate. I can do it from here. This is probably here we have Cisco switch, connect, port 443. I haven't done any VPN. I jump in from one to another, and it's very easy. In fact, this site is in Salt Lake City. My FortiGate is in Rome. We can also create, again, all of these features. So we are, parentheses, we are about to release a very granular role-based access control. You have a user. The user is part of a group. The group is given with roles. Some roles can see a device, but cannot use the VPN, and another role can make another see another device and make another activity on that device. Okay, and then the group will inherit all the grants for the device of the roles he gets assigned to. Okay, and then this we also provide read-only feature with this one, so I can give. This helps, for instance, in a situation where you have different providers who give you services for cameras, and you want them to access the cameras only. Others deal with backup, and you want them to work only there. Then for the backup, we have a customer now who asks us to monitor whenever a new device gets connected to his backup network, because it's a very sensitive area, of course. And this is a feature you can absolutely easily, out of the box, integrate. The other thing I wanted to show you is the so we have a core product. When you have a team who works in there, and then we have another big team of people who develop integrations, because we discover all the time that we got many requests from different customers who wants to use custom, as I said initially, different custom integrations with devices. And so now we have created this framework. For instance, you want to monitor vCenter. Someone in our corporation create these scripts, but these scripts was created in parallel with the others. So it's a plug and play approach. These scripts, I don't even know, it connects to the API session, retrieves some information, and shows this information in your dashboard. And we have created this for, I don't know, you want to monitor the SSL certificates. You want to get an alert before 10 days before they expires, for instance. You want to monitor a webhook, a web service. You want to invoke every 5 minutes, check the index page if it returns 200, if it's 404, or the response time. If the response time is bigger than 200 milliseconds, then again, open a ticket and so forth. And that many customers uses, for instance, an external based collector installed in an ISE EC2 instance. So I want to monitor my corporation from outside. It costs just €1.50, price list of course, because as the volume grows, the discount grows of course, but you can monitor your website from external or your IP address of the internet connectivity. But it's limitless. If you have iDRAC, for instance, we have integration with them. I always say ILO, the same, but also the application SQL. You can, and this integration with SQL, for instance, is done not in an infrastructure way. So we have integration, and then, for instance, we have customer who wants to monitor the size of the table space and the number of full scan table space, full scan they do on the database, and the response, the average response time. This is something you cannot get unless you have an application layer monitoring system. Okay, so that's the reason why I usually say that we provide full stack monitoring. This kind of scripts can be developed by yourself by using, I must confess, I use ChatGPT. I take one script which is similar to what I want to do. For instance, I developed the Azure integration with one of them because I was asked by a customer to monitor the containers in the cloud, and then I gave this to the guys and they replicate to check the billing cost, to check everything is there, and we can add others. Or you can ask us to write some scripts for you. You will test it, and then when they're okay, we can then put general availability for everyone. So
this is the same for all the AV equipment and everything.
Exactly.
Did you try like Biamp or Panasonic or something to see if there's...
We are about to partner with Biamp. And
we have a lot of Biamp and we have a lot of Panasonic and Epson projectors, and also the Crestron devices and some CV. So again, Crestron is directly, also the NVX on the Crestron, directly to the IV over IP solutions. Yeah, it's the first one there. Yeah.
This one, sorry. As I said initially, I'm more in the IT space. When people say different brands, sorry, I don't know it. Sorry.
We'll test that ourselves.
I discovered a new universe here in ESI.
The AV space is a beautiful place.
Yes, I appreciate now. It's complex to dig in.
Also, how if you want to jump into one room, find all the equipment for one room, how would you do that there? To kind of, because when we looked at it, it was more like you're monitoring a lot of devices, but normally when you have an error in a room, you would like to have a view where we can kind of jump into that campus and that room and get all the devices per that room per specific. Is that a good way? Or
absolutely,
we can get
absolutely.
it by switch, but, yeah.
No, you can do by tagging those devices manually or automatically. You can do so. I haven't shown you. This is an
IT approach. I understand it, but for AV, we want to kind of see all the devices in that room.
Yes, so
really
this is something absolutely feasible. So consider this is the Explorer view. So this is all of the collectors, and then you can dig in one of them to have a view of the topology and all the devices discovered by that specific collector. Here in the inventory, you might have the whole list of all devices discovered by all the collectors. And in here, you can say, I want to see all the online devices, I don't know, or maybe online sites, okay, all of them. And I want to only status online, and for instance, location, customer, location, I don't know how many, for instance, this is in foyer, this one. Okay, so you select, okay, I made some mistake for here. Okay, anyway, this is only one, or maybe more. Okay, but anyway, you can select by this. Then you go here and you save your query. Okay, okay, here you save your custom query. You can say zone 1 devices. Okay, and then you use this dynamic selection in the monitoring dashboard here, so that you want to see HTTP extractor or all your Dante enabled devices. For instance, we have integration with Dante. So, for instance, you can say manage devices statically, so you can select them one by one, or dynamically, and then you can select the zone 1 device. And then you will only see, and this is dynamic because whenever in the future a new device gets connected and it's classified with, and it match the query, it will automatically appear in there. And then, okay, is that answer your?
Yeah, I think so. But all of the AV-focused monitoring solutions always have this approach of, oh, you kind of jump into the city, you jump into the campus, you jump into the building, you jump into the, so the more, this view is kind of, I'm understanding, so another, this looks more like the other IT monitoring solutions like Savix and stuff, but we're also, but it's okay. We just
no, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out whether you could use your own collector in order to retrieve information specifically for your devices.
So when we have one per switch, then we can jump into the collector. So that makes more sense for us.
Considering the new model, you pay exactly the same amount of money having them all together in a single collector or in many of them. So again, you based on role-based access control, you can say this set of people uses only that collector, and they can do something in there and not bother each other. They're more in switches, for instance, or ESXi or whatever.
Also, one other cool thing that we were looking at is that we use D-Tools to do all the system designs. So now you have integration with D-Tools, so we can, because this is where we design all the different AV equipment we have in the rooms, so you can take the BOM, like the bill of materials from the rooms, and import it here. I'm not sure if you, because it's on the integration page on your both IT Glue for asset management,
yeah,
and D-Tools for.
D-Tools.
Yeah, they're on the stand.
Yeah, so on the other side.
But if you haven't worked with it, it's like.
I don't think we have D-Tools integration. We use actually D-Tools inside.
We used to have it at this
we use D-Tools inside Domotz, but we are not connected to that one. So
this is it. It's removed if it's not now, but we used to have it.
We used to have it in the past. I mean, I'm not aware that we were, and it was useful for you. And we removed them. We removed it. I don't know what has happened. I don't know what has happened actually. To be fair. Anyway, we have a wonderful support at domotz.com. You can send us an email. The guys, it's a around the clock support, so you'll get normally a response to your query or doubt or troubleshooting. Support to, you might stuck in connecting some device to Domotz, just send an email to them, you'll get this done soon, I hope. Normally it works like this.
Do you have like an estimate of how many customers are using your system? Like
our system?
Yeah, like
so we have about 5,000 customers in the world, but which means they are our direct customers, but they are mainly, as I said, integrators and MSPs, and they in turn, as we have some estimation, 10 to 15 customers. So I expect we have a dozen of thousands of end user and customers. More and more lately in the corporate IT space, as I said. And then we are adding more and more features in order to help these kind of organizations, which has different requirements of MSP. So we are adding templating, alerting. So for instance, you can because nowadays you have device, you want to add an alert, you must go there and select the alert, set the threshold, and then you can then apply to all the devices, of course. But we are now creating that can be done right now. The other thing we are developing is a template you select, like something like the dynamic query I showed you earlier. I want all of these devices to have an alert on the temperature, and I want those devices to get a script to monitor the CPU automatically. So I'll be able to monitor them. A new device gets connected, the script will get attached automatically, and then the threshold attached. This is something that we are adding vault management. As you've seen, probably, you set up so for instance, I want to assign SNMP credentials to these two elements. I have to select them and then set an alert, SNMP credentials. You can do grouping them, but they are at device level at the moment.
Would it make sense to like people counting solutions and to add that in there to kind of how many people are in the room? Is that some data we can kind of store in this also? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We're doing something like centrally managed, something like a vault. You can specify this as SSH or this as SNMP or SSH or WinRM or whatever credentials, and then specify where you want them to be applied. I haven't told you that we can monitor endpoints as well.
Yeah, so
Windows.
You can show them how you can see the switch and you can turn the PoE on off on
Yeah.
the equipment and the PDU integration.
Yeah.
You can show them that.
Yes, of course, of course. So, for instance, here I have a VAT box, but we have a long list of, this is a PDU smart box plugs. You can see from Domotz. If you look for Domotz integrations, then you select the PDU and smart plugs. We have Netio, Crestron, TP-Link, Ubiquiti. We have integration with Ubiquiti, with Meraki. Yeah, and here, I don't know where I put, yeah, this is a VAT box, for instance. The outlets are here. I know this outlet is connected to the Cisco. I want to power cycle. I can stop and start this one. Or, as I said at the beginning, create the automatism to make it automatically. The other thing you asked me was about the PoE capable switches. This one is so this one is connected, as you can see. This one is connected to port 2 of the upstream Cisco switch, and is connected in terms of power to the VAT box outlet one. So I can even decide to stop from the switch itself. And here in the interface, I know this Dante audio video integrator is connected to, and it consumes 1 watt, and I can power it on or power cycle.
The last thing also, some of the systems also monitor like PCs, so they install software on the PC because we need to monitor USB devices in Zoom and Teams room. Is that something that would be possible here to kind of get data out of if the USBs are working?
So we have integration with endpoints by means of WinRM. Or SSH for Linux devices, or SSH for Mac as well. At the moment, this is a matter, we have 2 possibilities for this. So the first approach is to leverage the integration, custom integration script, and then when you connect via WinRM, so the collector in the LAN connects using WinRM and can issue, as I showed you earlier, PowerShell script. If we have a line which can get this information from the device, then we can show and alert this information. The same with SSH. Yeah. The other approach that we are also working on.
Yeah, I actually spent before running, but we're investing a lot in the alliances with the main manufacturers, especially. Like, so we have a proof of value we're doing for a client. He has 110 meeting rooms. They have kind of like 5 or 6 hardware manufacturers to work with, whether it's Logitech, whether it's Lightware, whether it's the different QSys, and so we essentially well, fortunately, as of now, everybody is a pretty reasonably well documented APIs. That's a starting base for us, and that opens a world of possibilities because whatever they expose, we can bring it in, anything.
Yep.
And so we like to work with the manufacturers at kind of like partnership ecosystem level. And so, in fact, if you have your own requirements that you're saying we have these 6 manufacturers, we make sure that we have full access. And this becomes a 30-minute job. It's not like we have to develop something and we'll come back in a year's time. Because of this open architecture that we have, we essentially, you give us the API, we use a lot of AI to actually run, create the scripts. To be honest, it's not a manual job anymore. Yeah. And so it's relatively easy to get value and bring it in. So we cover the basics of in and out, and once you've done that, the business logic becomes a lot easier. So that's really what's unique, I believe, about us compared to other solutions, the flexibility that you have. And as I said, depends on your level of sophistication or requirements, you can go as customized as you want in the presentation layer. But we have a number of people, even integrators that have their own monitoring solution. They're using us for data ingestion and connectivity into workflows like ticketing systems, documentation systems, and they're just taking care of that. If they have any specific requirements on their visualization layer, they do that building it on us.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense. It's really IT centric. So for AV people, it can be a little bit frightening.
Yes.
So understand that we can also build our own top layer on top of this. So we're looking into like using IT glue also for all the asset management, integrating with you guys and building on top of it. It got a little bit expensive, so we kind of just
expensive for which point of view?
For us to develop the whole stuff.
But from an IT glue perspective,
we wanted to build a system on top of Domotz to kind of have an easier viewer for everything.
And it's expensive because of development cost, or expensive?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we'll look into that again. So we've come a far way since we looked at it 2 years ago. So.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of,